Come to another point. You talk about Mark Gold and Mike Callahan, and obviously your organisation, Griffin and Mark Gold, are the two acknowledged leaders in the field. What are the differences?
I think that our use of vocational themes and the list of 20 are the things that stand out. And I've always deferred to Mike because he's brilliant, and I don't think I'd have a career without Mike, to tell you the truth. But it is funny that we followed parallel paths to this,
Right.
and we ended up really at the same place. We just didn't use a lot of the terminology, and I felt like I'm not going to fight over terminology. Mike's very eloquent. I mean, discovery's his term. So we do discovering personal genius just to say it's different.
Yeah.
And we trademark that, not to say you can't use this. We want everybody to use discovering personal genius. We want you to recognize that there's a method attached to that.
Right.
And it's different from when somebody else says discovery. Discovery is a strategy, and we use that generically. But our real process is called discovering personal genius, right? And
Yeah, and okay, and I understand. I mean, obviously, the position of trademarking is about protecting the integrity of the process.
right. It's not about, for us, it's not about ownership. We don't make any money when you use discovering personal genius, and I'm not going to like send you a bill. Oh, you used that 8 times. I don't care. I want you to use it. I want to be able to go and say, I'm looking at your materials and you're using our name, but your materials don't reflect our methodology, so you need to take it off or our attorney will call you.
Right.
I wanted some of that leverage,
Right.
because exactly the way that you started this was talking about the integrity of the process.
And this is really, as well as that, it's also about ensuring that if you're going to use this, you need to be properly trained on how to use it.
Exactly.
So you don't do
That's
the
right.
shortcuts that happen with
That's right.
person-centered planning.
That's
and
right.
these other sort of
That's right.
processes.
And there are unfortunately, there are a lot of states that have put out manuals and forms and whatnot, and it says discovery at the top. And it is not close to discovery. It's a checklist or something.
Yeah.
It's
And I've seen a lot
discovery
of
is
forms
not
like
a
that.
checklist.
Yeah, and you
Right.
see a lot of that.
That's right.
You look over the
That's
first
right.
page and it's got a whole
That's
lot of
right.
boxes, and you go,
Yep.
no, that doesn't look
Yeah,
like it.
that's right. That's right. I would say that our approach to discovery is not as much narrative as maybe Callahan's. I understand why Mike does it the way he does it. It's brilliant. Oh my God, that would be great if my son or daughter, needed discovery. Hi, Mike. Or I'd call our team or I'd call his team. I would be equally as happy with either one. I think our approach to job development's slightly different, but not very different.
Right.
Again, I think I looked at the funding mechanisms and trying to push the more stilted systems by saying, see, I can give you a list of 20 for each theme. Boom, there's a paycheck. Okay, I've done my assignment. Rather than saying, oh, we're in job development and we'll get back to you when we're done, I can say, now we've done the career planning piece, so pay us for that. Now we'll go into job development. We will use these 60 places. We're going to start there,
Right.
to do job development. And you already can tell that we've followed the strategy because every one of those businesses relates to a theme.
Right.
So that's why we did it that way.
Right, because you can start to see it drives outcomes along
Yes,
towards
yes,
the end goal,
yes.
which of course is
That's right.
employment for the
Right.
individual.
And the other thing that it does, and this is sort of the way that we got at this from the back doors, everybody talks about getting to know your community.
Right.
Well, if you've created a list of 60, you know a lot more about your community than you ever did before. Right. And every one of those people now, if you visit, it doesn't mean that you've been to those businesses. And you would, in job development, my God, if you had to go to 60 businesses before you found a job, you're doing something wrong. And that's kind of a measure. Like, even if you went to 20 and you didn't have a nibble, I'd say you want to relook at the way you're approaching business. But the great thing about that is that if I go to 10 businesses, each one of those businesses is going to tell me about 5 other businesses that I didn't know existed. Right. Or this tradesperson over here, or that person, you should talk to so-and-so over there. Tell them that I sent you. That's, and suddenly that list of 20, and this is how you build the list of 20 in the first place. You go to 2 places and they tell you 5 other places, right? But pretty soon it's exponential in your understanding of the community. And so that initial pain that you go through in the first year of learning how to do that becomes easier because now you've got this network out there of folks that you know.
And it highlights the fallacy of you think you can do this from your office with a phone,
Right. Mm-hmm.
when the reality is you need to be out there walking around
Right.
your community.
Right. Well, job development is for most people is job finding. It's not job development. You're going into retail establishments, which in the U.S. are open 24/7. They can't keep you out, and so you walk in. You go, do you have an application? When are you doing interviews? That's not customized.
No.
By its very definition, customized is about circumventing that traditional HR process, that human resource process that traditionally blocks people from disabilities from getting a job. So why would you use that? You would try to figure out a way to get in the good graces, through the back door of the people running that company, again, whose themes match your themes,
Right.
or the people working there match your themes, right? And that's what gets you in.
Yeah, because often the approach for a lot of people is we'll go to the biggest employer,
Yeah.
you're from the big sign syndrome.
Right, exactly.
And they're usually the places that employ the least number of
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. No, and again, you get the least amount of attention. You're the last one hired. You're the first one fired when things go bad.
Right.
And what are you going to learn? And a lot of the places, this is why we stay out of retail. Not that retail isn't complex, but we don't get complex jobs for people. Where do you go? You go open boxes in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe you get on the shop floor, but usually what you're doing is open boxes. In Customize, what you're trying to do is to figure out a glide path that says my first job is teaching me these skills that are going to get me the next job, or my promotion gets me the next job, and all of this is negotiated at each step.
Right.
Either by the person or with the assistance of a job developer. I wouldn't go in and develop a job for somebody with a culinary, theme at a grocery store, and they say, well, everybody starts as a grocery bagger. Great, but your average grocery bagger lasts 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, Jake and I are going to sit down with you again, and we're going to talk about where he really wants to be, which is in the bakery.
Right.
And so, if you're in a box store opening boxes, tell me the skills that get you to the next level there. Okay, well, I can open boxes. Well, that doesn't lead to very much.
Which brings me to another point. One of the things we start to see in customized employment is self-employment.